Great. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today is Talent Capital's first webinar. Will Lopez, can you please kick us off?
Yeah, thank you, Jen. Well, first of all, thank you all for joining this inaugural launch of our AI series, where we'll share foundations, information about the latest and greatest technology that's using artificial intelligence, and really just give you an opportunity to gain knowledge on artificial intelligence in general. Today is hosted by Build Within, but we're hoping to have more coming in the coming months that will be hosted by other experts in the field. And so you'll be able to participate in those sessions as well. I want to thank Talent Capital, our partners at the Metropolitan Council of Governments, the DC Deputy Mayor's Office of Education, Maryland and Virginia workforce organizations as well for their support in this. And I'll hand it over back to you, Jen, to take it along. But we're really excited to have every one of you join us, and hopefully you get to learn something interesting and cool. All right, thanks everyone.
Thank you, Will. Just to continue what Will said, again, this is the first webinar from Talent Capital. Next month, we will be joined by IBM Skills Build and many more other partners. Today's session is on the foundations of artificial intelligence. And I am Jennifer Gannon, Build Within's Information Security Officer and a major artificial intelligence enthusiast, as I see many of our attendees are as well. So let's get going. In today's session, we will understand key terms regarding artificial intelligence. We'll learn about and understand key historical milestones in AI, the concept of machine learning, as well as machine learning model training. Before we even get started, why should we care about AI? What is it about AI that makes it so interesting or important in our world? And the key thing is the world of work is changing. 14 million jobs will disappear in the next 5 years, and hopefully that will be offset by the 69 million jobs that will be created in the next 5 years. We anticipate 42% of business tasks being automated in the next year, and that 1 in 16 workers will change occupations within the next 4 to 5 years. So the way we're working is changing, and the technology that's around us is changing. There's artificial intelligence in self-driving vehicles, in chatbots like OpenAI, ChatGPT, in images like Netflix. And Netflix is famous for recommending new content that you may like. Music, Spotify, Pandora, Apple Music that can create stations based on music that you like, even within the military. Artificial intelligence, including drones and here a robot dog. Artificial intelligence is also used in simulations. NotCo is a company that creates imitation or simulation meat or animal products. And the way that they are able to develop that is using technology based in artificial intelligence. Before we jump in, so what exactly is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence enables computers and machines to simulate human learning, comprehension, problem solving, decision making, creativity, and autonomy. But before we even go through that, like what are machines? Machines can be, the computer or the phone, the tablet that we're calling into this webinar on. It could be toasters in the morning, right? So machines do not all have artificial intelligence, but there are some that are capable of artificial intelligence and some that are designed to support and grow artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is inspired by the human brain. So let's take a minute to learn a little bit about the brain.
The brain is the most fascinating part of the human body. Not much to look at, it resembles a spongy mass of tissue, feels like tofu, and weighs roughly 4 tubs of butter. Our brain is actually made up of mostly water and about 10% fats. While our brain only makes up approximately 2% of the entire body's weight, it uses a massive 20% of the body's energy. The brain's basic building blocks are known as neurons, and we have around 100 billion of these, each with between 1,000 to 10,000 connections to other neurons, creating neural pathways or roads within the brain. There are literally trillions of neural connections within the brain. Similar to a city's electrical power grid,
So the brain has these neural networks and these roads to pass along information. And that's going to be important as we learn more about artificial intelligence. So the synapses within the brain transmit information from the central nervous system to other parts. Each neuron has, on average, 7,000 synaptic connections with other neurons and puts the synapse count in the neighborhood of 100 to 600 trillion synapses. And we'll learn about why this is important as we learn more about how artificial intelligence has been set up. Before we dive into that, let's first learn about the history of artificial intelligence. The first documented concept of artificial intelligence actually dates back to Greek and Roman mythology. In 700 BC, the poet Hesiod wrote about Talos, a robot man who was created to protect the island of Crete. And so this robot was able to be autonomous, to think creatively, and then to make decisions on its own. As we go back from before, those are some of the key features of artificial intelligence. So Talos would guard the island of Crete, identify potential threats, and would act on the threat. Going into the 1900s, the first robotic depictions in media is from Metropolis and Gaku Tensoku, a Japanese film. In the 1950s, Alan Turing publishes Computer Machinery and Intelligence, an influential paper, and John McCarthy in 1955 coins the term artificial intelligence. So the founding fathers of AI are Alan Turing and John McCarthy. And so let's learn a little bit more about them. Alan Turing posed the great question, can machines think? Laying out the imitation game that is still used to this day to determine whether or not a machine it possesses artificial intelligence. This also led to the movie The Imitation Game and The Code Breaker. In 1952, Alan Turing was convicted for being a homosexual and castrated and fined. He was stripped of all of his honors, and he committed suicide at age 41 in 1954. But that doesn't take away from Mr. Turing's great contributions to artificial intelligence and machine learning. He helped break the code during World War II that helped lead to the ending of the war. As I mentioned before, the Turing test to test for artificial intelligence is still widely used today. John McCarthy coined the term in artificial intelligence in 1955. And John McCarthy at this time worked alongside with Arthur Samuel at IBM, and Arthur Samuel created the term machine learning. So during this time, IBM was a major player within computer, artificial intelligence, machine learning. Arthur Samuel first created a system to play checkers, right? So he used a computer to play checkers with him. And checkers was a great game for to teach computers because of its strict rules. You can only move forward, you can only move different sides and colors. And so with games, that became the first way to train computers and models for artificial intelligence. The first industrial robot was from 1960s at General Motors. And then Eliza is the first early AI chatbot. So this was long before Siri, long before Alexa. Eliza was the very first chatbot, and she was developed, or Eliza was developed in 1960. So we'll learn a little bit more about Eliza shortly. And then the first anthropomorphic robot was created in the 1970s in Japan. And while Tesla is most known for the first driverless car, it was actually Mercedes-Benz that created the first driverless car in the 1980s. Another early chatbot system, Jabberwocky, was also created in the 1980s. And Deep Blue, the IBM system computer program, defeated the world reigning chess champion in 1997. And then we'll learn more about other robots in 2000. So we'll learn more a little bit about these early AI systems.
Long before Siri or Alexa, there was Eliza, a pioneer in the world of chatbots. Contrary to its modern counterparts, Eliza wasn't designed to control your lights or play music. Instead, it aimed for something far more intriguing, simulating a conversation with a therapist. Unlike anything seen before, Eliza challenged our understanding of human-machine interaction. So, how did this early chatbot work? Let's delve into the fascinating story of Eliza and explore how this early chatbot paved the way for the sophisticated AI assistants we know today. How it all started. The history of bots stretches back to the 1950s when the pioneering British computer scientist Alan Turing began exploring the concept of machine intelligence. Turing posed a profound question: can machines think? In 1950, he published a highly influential article titled Computing Machinery and Intelligence. In this paper, Turing delved into the idea that machines could exhibit intelligent behavior. According to Alan Turing, a machine can be considered intelligent if it can convincingly impersonate a human during a real-time conversation, such that the person interacting with it believes they are conversing with another human rather than a machine. One of the most significant contributions of Turing's work is what we now call the Turing test. This test was designed to determine whether a machine can exhibit intelligent behavior indistinguishable from that of a human. The test set a foundational benchmark for assessing machine intelligence. Alan Turing's work in this area captured the interest of many scholars and researchers, including Joseph Weizenbaum, a German computer scientist and associate professor at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, popularly known as MIT. Weizenbaum was particularly fascinated by Turing's ideas about machine intelligence and the potential for computers to exhibit human-like behavior. Weizenbaum's engagement with Turing's work led him to explore the ethical and social implications of AI. In 1966, a program named ELIZA, short for Electronic Linguistic Analyzer, was developed by Joseph Weizenbaum, marking the creation of the world's first chatbot. Weizenbaum's primary goal with ELIZA was to explore the potential of natural language processing and to see how effectively a computer program could interact with humans using everyday language. The name Eliza comes from Eliza Doolittle, a character in George Bernard Shaw's play Pygmalion. In the play, Eliza Doolittle is a flower girl who is taught to speak with an upper-class accent, transforming her speech to fit into high society and deceive others about her true social background. Similarly, Weizenbaum's Elisa, designed to simulate conversation, could engage in structured dialogues that mimicked human interaction. However, just like the character Eliza Doolittle didn't truly understand the upper-class world she was trying to fit into, Weizenbaum's Eliza also lacked genuine understanding. Eliza's responses were based on programmed scripts and patterns rather than true comprehension of the conversation. It could simulate human-like interactions to some extent, but it did not grasp the deeper meanings, emotions, or context of the conversations it participated in. How it works. Eliza was created to give the illusion of understanding and interacting like a real person, though it followed a mechanical process. Eliza uses a method called pattern matching and substitution to generate its responses. Here's how it works. When a person types a message to Eliza, the program scans the input for specific keywords or phrases. Based on these keywords, Eliza selects a pre-programmed response that incorporates these words. For example, if someone says, "My mother cooks good food," Eliza would recognize the word mother. It might then respond with a preset question like, "Tell me more about your family."
So Eliza was the first chatbot, and the first chatbot was actually not that far off from much of the LLMs, the large language models that we use today. Even now, Eliza has scored high on a number of different on the Turing test and has beat out some of the other AI chatbots that we are familiar with. So in the 50s, computer scientists played a lot, taught computer programs how to play checkers, a simple game, rules, and then they continued and expanded to games of rules and strategy, a very popular game of chess. And so we'll learn about IBM's Deep Blue playing the world chess player.
The world was paying a lot of attention, and we weren't quite used to that.
Chess events never get covered like that. It was probably the biggest news coverage for a chess match ever.
We were trying to prove that it was possible to build a chess machine that could beat the best human player in the world.
It's also challenging Kasparov in any way. I mean, he's the pinnacle of chess. He's incredible genius.
There were people who, even if just a few years before, said it was going to take decades to do.
The chess world all expected Kasparov to win because the human had always won before.
We'd worked very hard in the intervening year to improve Deep Blue in various ways.
I spent a lot of time in the office playing a lot of practice games, looking for lots of errors that needed to be fixed.
And we were pretty confident that it would do better.
When we got to the match, that was the chance to see, did we make a difference?
Garry Kasparov has arrived.
He was under tremendous stress, I imagine. The program wasn't behaving the way he was expecting.
He thought that he was going to figure out the computer.
And he wasn't mentally prepared for it, I think.
I mean, the whole game was surreal. What was he doing? It didn't really make any sense.
Whoa! Deep Blue has instantly sacrificed with knight captures e6.
Deep Blue was just sitting there and just keep on attacking, just moving pieces around. And he knew he was in trouble.
But at the end, Kasparov he stands up, he starts gesturing, he looks over at his mother. I think having your mother in the room where you're playing an important chess game is not a great idea, as much as I love my mom.
I was dumbfounded and elated at the same time. I was dumbfounded because I never see him behave that way. He never imagined the world champion and actually somebody I have great respect to be just raising his hand up in surrender.
So we moved from a game of rules, from checkers, rules, strategy, rules, and strategy, and then we continue on to games of speed and information. Actually, I think we missed one video, so we will go here to this video.
Let's get right into the Jeopardy round. These categories: a man, a plane, a canal, Erie, Chicks Dig Me, children's book titles, My Michelle, MC5, and finally vocabulary. Ken, you're in the first position. Please make a selection.
I've never said this on TV. Chicks Dig Me for 200, please, Jimmy.
Kathleen Kenyon's excavation of this city, mentioned in Joshua, showed the walls had been repaired 17 times. Watson.
What is Jericho?
Correct.
400, same category.
This mystery author and her archaeologist hubby dug in hopes of finding the lost Syrian city of Urkesh. Watson.
Who is Agatha Christie?
Correct.
Same category, 600.
At the Olduvai Gorge in 1959, she and hubby Lewis found a 1.75 million year old Australopithecus Boise-eyed skull. Watson.
Who is Mary Leakey?
You're right.
800, same category.
Harriet Boyd.
So from games of rules, like checkers, to strategy and rules, to chess, we quickly moved on to games of knowledge and speed, like in Jeopardy! From there, in 1997 beyond, the artificial intelligence quickly and accelerated. So as we all know, Siri was released in 2011, Alexa shortly thereafter in 2014. There was Amber AI in 2017, GPT-1 2018, followed quickly by GPT-2. And then in November 30th, 2022, ChatGPT free version became available to the public. And this was just a regular announcement. So just, OpenAI trained a model, just wanted to release it to see how it went and how it would be received. And it exploded. It took a ChatGPT only 5 days to reach 1 million users. To give a little bit of context, it took the iPhone 74 days to reach 1 million users. Instagram, 2.5 months. Spotify, 5 months. Facebook, 10 months. Airbnb, 2.5 years. And Netflix in 3.5 years. And ChatGPT was able to do this in just 5 days. And it has really reshaped how we work and we engage with computer science. So 2022 became the year where artificial intelligence took center stage and transformed how many of us interact with technology. From here, many companies started their own artificial intelligence models and chats. So there's Google Gemini, Microsoft Copilot has it, Claude, a project by Anthropic, Perplexity, and so many more. And even since then, all of these systems have matured beyond many would even believe. There are various difference of levels of artificial intelligence. So narrow AI, also known as weak AI, is an AI system that has a specific function. Artificial general intelligence is strong AI, and this is more generalized information. And super AI, or human or superhuman consciousness, is the level 1. So an example of narrow AI would be like a refrigerator or a car that drives. A self-driving Tesla can only drive. But if the self-driving Tesla realizes, in the morning, Jennifer always drinks coffee when she's driving, I'm also going to learn how to make a cup of coffee and give her some coffee. And then super AI is superhuman consciousness. If you are a Marvel fan, you can think of of course, I can't remember his name now. The guy who is red, or in Her with Jude Law. Those are also an example of super AI. So artificial or narrow intelligence is the only type of AI that exists right now. It can be trained to perform a single or narrow task, and it's often works at far faster and better than the human mind can. As of now, artificial or AGI is nothing more than a theoretical concept. So this is the AGI uses previous learnings and skills to accomplish new tasks. It can learn and perform any new task or any task that a human can. And then super AI also is strictly theoretical. It, if this is ever realized, super AI would think, reason, learn, and make judgments and possess cognitive abilities that would surpass uh, those of human beings. Within the org chart of artificial intelligence, you have computer science as the parent, and then AI, artificial intelligence, that further goes into machine learning, then deep learning, then you have LLMs, large language models, and generative AI. And so we'll go a little bit more about these areas. So machine learning, geneticists had fruit flies and colleges had white mice. We've learned that computer scientists had games. First, rule-based games like checkers that went more into strategy like chess, and then even Jeopardy, where it's knowledge and processing. Machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence that allows for optimization. So when you set it up correctly, it can help you make predictions and minimize errors. And so an example of like this is Amazon that can recommend products to customers that they have purchased before, or even Netflix that says, this person watches a lot of horror movies. Let me recommend additional horror movies or suspenseful movies. And classic or non-deep machine learning depends on human intervention. So this is called having a human in the loop that allows the computer to identify patterns, perform specific tasks, and provide accurate results. Going back from before, what we learned about the human brain, artificial intelligence, machine learning is all based on the human brain and the neural network. So it is the neurons connects the information together, and this is how the artificial intelligence works on the back end. So there is first supervised learning. So AI is trained on labeled data, which means that a human categorizes or labels the data correctly, and the AI learns by recognizing the pattern for this. So a great example of this is for those who are interested in self-driving vehicles, stop signs. This person's often called a data annotator, will go through and identify and box stop signs and say, anytime you see an octagon with a white trim, red, with white letters, it is a stop sign. And so you're feeding the machine that this is a stop sign. And so when the self-driving vehicle identifies the octagon that's red with the white trim and stop in white letters, then it knows that this is a stop sign. So this is called supervised learning when people identify the correct data for the machine to learn. Next is unsupervised learning. So AI is trained on unlabeled data. And so this is random data, and the AI must find the pattern or relationship on its own. A great example of this is if you ever travel or if your credit card has been blocked or flagged for fraud because of unusual behavior. So let's say typically you don't buy lunch and you work downtown, and if all of a sudden you're buying lunch in San Francisco, your bank might think this is not typical behavior for this person. This is likely fraud. So that is an example of unsupervised data. So this is where the machine itself is trained on random data, and the machine must find the pattern or relationship on its own. Then there is reinforcement learning. And so the AI learns by receiving feedback in the form of a reward or punishment for its actions. A great example of this is a Roomba. If the Roomba continues to move forward, that is its reward. But if it bumps into a wall, then it learns that it's a punishment, and it will recognize that there is a wall here. And as it learns to navigate around the wall, will learn the dimensions of the room and learn where it can and cannot go. Over the past few years, there's generative AI, and generative AI is when it creates new content. A great area or field that shows the progress of generative AI is with AI images. Here are some images from that was generated by AI from 2014 with a blurry pixelated face, all the way up until now, where it's in many cases almost indiscernible from a regular picture. And so over the past few years, the ability to generate images and generate content has really exploded. That wraps up today's webinar on the foundations of AI. Next month, on Friday, June 26th, these webinars will be the last Friday of every month at lunchtime. We will be joined by representatives from IBM Skills Build, and they will be going through how to create an elevator pitch using generative AI. And you can use the QR code here to register for the webinar. We're very excited to have IBM Skills Build join us, especially since now we all know of IBM's strong history in artificial intelligence. We hope that everybody stays in touch. Of course, you can visit talentcapital.ai and then talentcapital@buildwithin.com. We will post this video on the Talent Capital website, and so you will be able to access it then. Thank you, everybody. I hope you have a great day.